Hello, beautiful people. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to Your Spiritual Guru podcast. I'm your host and spiritual guru, Erin. I've been on my own spiritual journey for the past 2 years, and it's an honor to walk beside you as you navigate through your own. This podcast is for anyone who is wanting to do inner work, get more in tune with themselves, heal past traumas, and find their inner power. If that's you, then sit tight because this is going to get deep. You ready? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Your Spiritual Guru podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube right now, I apologize. I know I look awful right now. Probably. I haven't even looked at myself in the mirror, so I don't even know how I look right now. But yeah, today has been a day. Caffeine is the only reason I'm standing upright. For those of y'all who didn't hear or listen to the podcast episode last week, which due to technical difficulties, I can only post it on YouTube last week. However, as promised, it is now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can watch it, or not watch it, you can listen in on those platforms as well. But I did mention in there, or Alexis mentioned, that I've started medic school. So I had work yesterday. I worked my 24-hour shift. And then recently, like the past couple of shifts, I've been very lucky where we didn't get any calls in the middle of the night. But last night, we got a call at like 1:30 in the morning, and then I didn't get back to the station until almost 4, and then I have to wake up at like 6:30 to like wash my truck and, do all of these things, and by that time, it's time to get ready for class, and so I had medic class this morning right after shift, and yeah, and then, after class, I have to get my daughter, and it's just, caffeine is the only reason that I'm able to function like an actual human being right now. But moving on. Sorry, it's gonna take me a minute to get my words together. So yes, if you have not listened to last week's episode, please listen to it. I know we have almost 20 views on YouTube right now, which is amazing. I think that's the highest views I've had on any of my videos on YouTube, so that's great. It's probably due to the fact that it was the only place you could listen to it. But if you missed it, please go back and listen in. It is an interview that I've been wanting to have for a really, really long time with a very good friend of mine. I talk about my past relationship with a narcissist, basically, and my time period through there, my life afterwards, and co-parenting with said person, and some of the things that I talk about in there, y'all have probably heard before if you've been with me for a while at this podcast. But there are some things in there that I know for a fact y'all haven't heard, because I have told very few people some of the things that I talk about in that episode. So it's a really, really good one. Today, so I was trying to think back to kind of where we left off before the interview. God, it feels like so long since I've actually sat in front of the camera and recorded an episode. But I think the last episode I recorded, I was kind of getting in y'all's ass a little bit. Not even a little bit, a lot. I used my mom voice in some of those parts, and I was like, ugh. But I feel like it was a message that needed to be heard. But today, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what I was talking about in the episode before the interview. And if I could sum up my message for today, it would be to work smarter, not harder, right? That's been something that I've lived by for a while now. But it got me thinking, sometimes especially it seems like nowadays recently, taking the easy way out or not suffering as much or choosing not to suffer or finding an easier way to do something where it's more beneficial or not as hard is like frowned upon for some reason. Do y'all feel that way? Like if I choose to do something an easier way, it's looked at in a negative light. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't understand why, why would you intentionally make things harder for yourself? I just don't get that. I don't understand. Especially when we live in a time and we have access to so many things that could ease a lot of stuff that we, have to do. It doesn't have to be as hard as we make it, right? And I was thinking about a couple instances, but I'm gonna kind of relate it to my going to medic school right now as I'm working, right? So if you've been with me for a while on this podcast, you've heard me talk about my first EMS job after I got my EMS license. And at first, it was really, really great. I loved the experience that I was getting. Great for experience, but it was getting to a point where the environment was toxic. The management was it was draining me to be at that company. But I knew I wanted to go to paramedic school. Well, this company also hosted a paramedic class. So I had a choice to make, right? I could stay at a company that it just was not aligned with me anymore, my values, I just started to notice things that it was just not, it didn't align with who I was as a person anymore. And because of that, it was becoming very, very draining and toxic for me, right? And so I could stay there and go through their paramedic class. And I would have been like, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't tell the future, but I can use deductive reasoning to say that I was miserable just working the shifts that I was working. Okay. So I can't imagine working the shifts and then going to paramedic class right afterwards, feeling the way that I was feeling. Absolutely not. Now, some could say that me choosing to go to Bryan County I think that was the first time that I actually used the company's name. I try not to do that because like I don't want, association or whatever, but it's a great company. I really enjoy it. But, going to this company to, get on 24-hour shifts that run hardly any calls would be taking the easy way out. Like, oh, you're not really running any calls, you're being lazy, blah, 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 blah. Some could say that, yeah. But also, I feel like easy and struggle is very subjective, right? Because you could also look at that and say, well, in order to work with this company, I had to go through their fire program. I was just an EMT. I had no desire to be a firefighter at all. At all. That was the last thing I wanted to be. But I knew that that environment that I was in was no longer serving me mentally and emotionally. And I knew that going to a company that ran less calls, that operated in a smoother way, their focus was in different places, more positive places, it was going to be more beneficial for me emotionally and mentally. And so I was willing to make that sacrifice to make it easier for myself. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I chose the easy way. But that doesn't always mean that the easy way is not hard too, right? Because I had to go through a fire program that I did not anticipate ever in my EMS career, right? I didn't want to be a firefighter. But then I went through it and I was like, this shit is actually really awesome. Like, I actually enjoy this. I didn't think I would. And then I made it. I did it. And so now I'm in the medic class that this company provides. And while the situation is not ideal, I was moved to a station last minute, moved to a new station that is notorious for getting ran at night, right? And my medic class is right after I get off shift. So I go straight from work to class, right? So that's not necessarily easy, but it could be a lot worse, right? And just like I said, easy and struggle is relative. I was, thinking of people. Someone mentioned earlier today, I heard someone say, some people, if they have it hard, they want you to have it harder, right? Like they don't want you to be able to have it easy or take the easy way. Now, that's not to say, I'm not saying or condoning half-assing shit. That's not what I'm about. But if you can achieve the same goal, right? Achieve the same goal without having to go through so much shit to get to it, and you still have the same knowledge, the same skills, you attain the same goal, why not take the easier way? That just makes logical sense to me. Maybe I'm alone. I don't know. But that just makes sense to me, okay? And another thing is, I've also found that in some situations, like say for instance, you just want to take the hard way, right? You want to take the hard way, you want to do it the hard way, I don't know, to for clout, to to prove a point, to say that, oh, I did it and now, nobody can say anything, whatever. I've found that when you keep hitting walls, when nothing is going right, when everything is working against you, and it's making it hard, like that's what's making it hard, is that nothing is working for you, that's usually an indication that you're not on the right path. You're not doing something right. Because if you are trying to further something, right? You're trying to progress in something. Yeah. Are there going to be struggles and hardships and things you have to overcome? Sure. But it shouldn't be a thing of every single thing is just blowing up in your face and you're just hitting brick after brick after brick, wall after wall after wall. It's not supposed to be like that, right? And it kind of makes me think of past relationships, which is, really great, segue, or, branching off from the interview, right? So in relationships, sometimes, well, I won't speak for everybody, but I know for me, and, I have a few people in my circle who are the same way as well. If you're in a relationship with someone and you want so badly for it to work, but you've recognized some red flags, you have noticed that this relationship is no longer serving you, you realize that you're unhappy, but you want to make it work, you want to stick it out, you want to keep trying, you want to do everything that you can possibly do, you want to keep holding on to this situation, this thing, this person that is no longer serving you. For me, personally, it's hard for me to let go in those situations because I feel like I'm giving up. I'm saying that I don't value this person, or I don't love this person. Like, the fact that I'm choosing to walk away, sends a signal of, like, I give up, I throw in the towel, and I never wanted to be that person, right? That's why I was always looking for the other person to end things, right? Because I didn't want to end things, because I didn't want to be seen as somebody that quit, you know? But quitting isn't always bad. It's not. If it's beneficial for your well-being, your safety, your mental health, your emotional health, your spirit, it's okay to quit. It is. There have been times where quitting has saved my life, right? And I know I'm not the only one. Choosing to get out of a toxic relationship saved my life, because who knows where I would have been now. He could have been beating me now, for all I know. I don't know. Could have happened. But I chose to quit. Staying at a company that was no longer serving me could have killed me. But I recognized that it was becoming draining and toxic, and I chose to quit. It's not always a bad thing. It's about knowing your limits, knowing your values, who you are as a person, who you want to represent, what you want to represent, and finding ways to do things that align with you. And that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. I'm sorry this episode is a little bit short. Like I said, I don't even know how I'm awake right now. I really don't. I'm going off of 3-ish hours of sleep, 3 or 4 hours. So, yeah. And then I have to go ahead and post this because I'm recording this on Thursday, and y'all know the episode drops on Friday, which is tomorrow. So, yeah. I'm going to try my best to keep up with these podcast episodes, because I feel like they really benefit people. I get a lot of great feedback, and so I'm really, really, really going to try to stick with this through medic school. No promises. There might be some months where I have to take a break. I hope my audience and my friends will understand. And yeah, just know I'm always here if y'all have any questions. If y'all want to talk about things, you can find me at Instagram, which is, my Instagram is at AIR_WREN. And yeah, slide my DMs anytime. I'd love to chat. Until we meet again, namaste.